So what would the world be like if we all just made a commitment to give more love, to be more love, to breathe more love, to think and feel more love? What would the world be like? Is that always easy to do? Nope, but I got permission today. So we have the children's corner over here today. You have my permission to the whole room to be the children's corner. The whole room to be an expression of awe and wonder and goodness and peace and love and all that is good and holy. We see you that way. We know you that way. And so whatever it looks like in your world, be it. Yes? All right, be it and breathe it. In the last 2 weeks for Advent, you know, Advent is the arrival of something long awaited for. And for many of us in the leadership role and many of us in the congregation who've been involved in the surveys and in the discussions at the leadership level, we have been waiting for that next chapter, that next iteration of who we are as a community, the next mission statement, the next vision statement, and the next chapter of what 2025 is going to hold for this community above and beyond. The master teacher said, in my Father's house, there are many rooms, there are many mansions, there are many dimensions. Well, a new dimension of our community is being birthed right now during this holiday season. Let's begin. 2 weeks ago, we introduced the new mission statement. I'm going to put that up there and invite you to say this with me with one powerful voice together. We are a loving community of spiritual seekers who celebrate diversity, acceptance, and oneness. Feel the energy of those words. Loving, seeking, celebrating, diversity, acceptance, and oneness. Those words came directly from this congregation and what wanted to be birthed through us and as us. But a mission statement is who we are. This is who we are. This is how we show up. How do we accomplish it? This is the vision statement. How do we put feet to the prayers, to the ideas, and the dimensions that are asking for expression? This will be our vision statement. Let's put that slide up there, and let's read it together. We joyfully grow our spiritual community by cultivating enthusiastic participation and leadership, raising prosperity consciousness, and offering meaningful programs that transform lives for the better. We broke that down last week, and there's a lot of juice in there, yes? If you take it word by word by word, idea by idea, something is asking for expression. And they're not just words on a paper. They are ideas asking for creation, asking for manifestation, and asking us for birth. Now, how many people love change? How many people love change? Yeah. Yeah, I believe you. I do believe you. You know, change is a good thing, and this change that's happening in our community is a holy, wonderful, blessed thing about who we are being called to be. But change can be hard, yes? Anybody experience that? I have. I don't want to change, kicking and screaming down the pathway of transformation. We have growing pains, don't we? And to make the analogy to Christmas, birth pangs. And what does it require of us? What does change require of us? A good attitude. Certainly when the Holy Spirit of life came to Mary and to Joseph and said, guess what? Your life is about to be interrupted. You're about to have something different happening in your life. That can be scary, and both of them were a bit godsmacked, I imagine. And they had to cultivate something on the inside in order to manage what on the outside was being asked of them. Is it adversity? Is it adventure? We get to decide. And one thing we teach from this platform all the time, what is the difference between adversity and adventure? Attitude. You've been listening. You've been paying attention. Plain and simple, the attitude that Mary and Joseph brought allowed something beautiful to be born, something magnificent. And the same is true for us. As we are going through the birthing process, it could be adversity, it could be adventure, it could be nothing, or it could be an attitude that says, yes, I'm ready, I'm ripe, I'm pregnant with the next chapter of who I am meant to be as an individual and who we are meant to be as a community. During times of change, what is it that an organization needs? Or an individual? What are the things that you need to be your anchors in times of change? Call it out. Faith. Call it out loud, children. Flexibility. Oh, that's I'm a Virgo. That's not what I like. I got to move and flex. What else did we hear? Just on the count of three, like a child of God, just call it out and fill the room with whatever it is you think is important. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 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 yes. It is all required in the birthing process of becoming us. You know, you were born 29 years ago, I'm sure. 39, 49, 59, 69 years ago, but it was an ongoing birthing process. If we are evolving and becoming and going to the next level, the upper room and the upper dimension, we're going to have to be birthed over and over and over again. For an organization, we need anchors. We need grounding principles. We need our go-tos, our big rocks, if you will, our centering values. Those unchangeable, non-negotiable pillars that keep us steady, that keep us grounded, on track, and keep us connected. Yes? Today, we're going to spend some time with what those things are for Unity North. They are our core values. Say that with me. They are our core values. But before we reveal them, don't put the slide up yet. We've talked about the surveys. We've talked about the brainstorming and the leadership visualizing that led us to these two new statements. Each of the exercises, as we went through them, also revealed the pillars. It was clear as a bell. Words and ideas and emotions and feelings that rose to the surface because we had an attitude of welcoming them. We had an attitude of bringing them on, even though maybe our knees were knocking a little bit. The core values rose to the top. And you know what was very encouraging about that? These were the same core values that we had last year. They were not manipulated to get them. You are living them, breathing them, giving them life, and they are consistent. And they're the same core values that we had 10 years or 7 years ago when we did the initial process. What does that indicate to you? If the core values have remained the same, when change is happening, what do they represent to you? Call it out. Somebody said stability. Who said stability? Somebody back there. Tony, you get a lollipop. They indicate stability, but they also indicate commitment. They indicate what it takes for a spiritual community to become what it is, not only stability, but dedication, focus, vision, and commitment to the dream and the vision of the community. So job well done. This is exactly what Jesus brought to the planet, born 2,000 plus years ago. What was the world that Jesus was born into? What did it look like? It was dark. It was divisive. It was fight. There was fight going on. There was duality everywhere. It was all about me and you, or us and them, fighting over the land, fighting over what was mine and what I needed to keep because you were going to take it away from me. The world, it sounds a lot like we're describing 2024, doesn't it? Jesus came as a stable consciousness, a stable spirit to bring into it with a commitment to something greater. And that's what we're doing as a community. We look at the world, it looks a little chaotic, it looks a little bit like Jesus' time, and then we bring the consciousness. That's what these statements are all about, bringing the new consciousness and not wavering in our commitment to living these ideas. The talk title today is When All Is Said and Done. Say that with me. When all is said and done. How many have ever used that term? I use it all the time as a reminder statement for me that I got to return to what's important. I got to return to what I know is true, what I know is unwavering when change is happening and darkness is happening. Sometimes I'll say at the end of the day, if a tough day has come, I say at the end of the day, this is what goes to sleep with me. This is what I take to the dream time, the most important thing. Not all the stuff. You know, stuff happens. But what I take to sleep at the end of the day is the unchangeable anchors, the pillars, the big rocks. All I have at the end of the day is my integrity. And so at the end of the day, when all is said and done, no matter what's going on, no matter any external change, good, bad, or otherwise, these are the things that serve as your compass of due north. Our code of ethics, our big rocks, our non-negotiables. Here they are, Unity North. They're going to be familiar because they're the same for the last 7 years, but it bears repeating. This is what we have birthed for the last 7 years and what we're going to continue to birth. Say them with me. Unconditional love, spirituality, acceptance, diversity, community, and service. Jesus brought a consciousness that demonstrated every one of these divine ideas into a world that needed them. If you examine his teachings, unconditional love was the cornerstone. You have forgotten that you belong to each other, that love is more powerful than the fight or the greed or whatever it might be. And that he spoke and he taught from a spiritual standpoint, not a human standpoint. He was about confronting the human ego that was driving the earth at the time and said, let's remember Spirit, the Holy Spirit that we were created in and as. He accepted people. He lived in a world of diversity. He crossed those borders and those boundaries and said, no, I'm going to go to the other side and realize that I belong to them and they belong to me. And he created community through being a servant leader. I'm going to use music as the metaphor. Are you okay with audience participation today? You okay with audience participation when it comes to music? Oh, yeah, some of the people in the back said, no, that's why I sit in the back. Don't make me sing. You know, first service, we did this exercise, and it was about as dissonant. You know, if we ever have a choir, I need lots of you second service people to show up. We proved the case. But I'm going to use music as the vibration because these words are energetic vibrations, just like notes within the scale, just like music. And so it's an easy bridge to build. But I want to give you a little song, just a short little song to invite you into the sanctuary of where I want you to go today. You've got to feel the music and feel it come from deep within. You gotta feel the music before the singing can begin. You gotta know that way down deep inside is where you're gonna give the music life. Feel the music and everything will be all right. This is a song Jesus sang to the world. You have forgotten to feel the music. God is a feeling. And so many of us are trying to think ourselves into enlightenment and oneness. It doesn't work that way. You've got to feel the music internally first, so then you can be an ambassador, a testimony to the music on the outside. Yes? I invite you to feel the music of all of these words as I go through them point by point. A place of connection that unites all the musicians in the orchestra of Unity North Atlanta Church, or in the case of today, the choir of Unity North. Let's begin with the greatest pillar. I've got it right there at the top. Say it with me. Unconditional love. This is the largest of our rocks. This is, when all is said and done, this is all that matters. This is why we are here. This is our unwavering commitment. Unconditional love when we disagree about religion. Unconditional love when we disagree about politics. Unconditional love when we are in the dark night of the soul wanting to tear each other's hair out. No, this is the biggest rock. It's the foundation of this house. Unconditional love is like the melody. So the melody that's woven through every song that we sing. It is the melody that is untainted and unchanged by any external reality. It is the weaving of song, of music, of vibration that connects everything that we are. Last week in the town hall meeting, and how many people were here for the town hall meeting? I don't know about you, but I listened, and I listened very carefully. And there were two words that kept showing up over and over and over again, and they were spoken in the same sentence. We talked about buildings, we talked about holes in the ground, we talked about programming, we talked about classes, we talked about 1,000 different things, but this congregation kept coming back to the words, love is sufficient. Say that with me. Love is sufficient. Love is enough. Together. Love. I want you to feel the vibration of those words. On this earthly journey, is it possible that love is enough, that love is a sufficiency, that if we can live truly? I've often said that you read one book. Don't go to 10,000 books. We do that in New Thought, don't we? I got to read 10,000 more books. Read one. And then live that book as if it was the holiest text on the planet. But I'm saying, let's narrow it. What if one word or one phrase was the holy gospel that we needed to live? Unconditional love. Say it with me and feel the vibration. Unconditional love. I want you to just breathe that in for a second. When the melody that we're sharing is love, everything else falls into place. Plain and simple. When you feel the music of love, sincere, not a manufactured love, not putting a smile on, but a sincere agape love, unconditional, I love you no matter how you show up. Not so easy to do. but the cornerstone of all religion, and certainly the cornerstone of Unity North Atlanta Church. Everything falls into place. We create a community together where love is the melody tying our stories together. Your story, my story, their story, her story, his story. All come together, and the stories all compile the symphony. But the melody that is pure and common to all the stories is unconditional love. Our master teacher, Jesus, that we celebrate at this time of year, absolutely knew it. What did he say when he was asked, what are the most important things? What are the most important commandments? What did he say? Any Bible people in the room? I know you know the answer, Larry. Love God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. Let's say it together. Love God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. The consciousness that we celebrate at Advent knew that love was sufficient. Knew that love was enough. But we as mankind, don't we convolute it? No, let me throw 500,000 pages on top of that about how love can be expressed. Love is love is love is love. Together is love. Agape love, unconditional. I will love you when you are a child of God. I will love you when you're a crotchety old man. I will love you no matter what you are doing, because love is what I am, and love is what my community is, and love is what we're all about. The second word, let's put that spirituality. Say that with me. Spirituality. This is not spirituality as religion, and I want to be real clear about that. That religion is the 500,000 words on top of unconditional love. Spirituality is a state of being, not anything manufactured. It is the music in the pause between the notes, and that might surprise you. It certainly surprises the ego, but all of the meditation people in the room say, I get it. Love are the rests that bring the music to life. You've got to feel the music. Right there's where God happens. And feel it come from deep within. That's spirituality. It is silence. It is stillness. It is meditation. It is prayer. It is listening. It's where the mystery lies. It's where the mystery lives and breathes and connects us. It's quiet time. All the ideas that we share from this platform, from any of our classes, any of our gatherings, cannot and will not be discerned through the ego alone. It will leave you wanting. If you are trying to think yourself into a feeling here at this church, you're going to go, it's not working. We must stop and pause, look and listen, and integrate in the silence what unconditional love is speaking through us and as us. You know, St. Paul said it. Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore said it, our co-founders. Jesus said it, and every prophet and teacher throughout history said it. Spiritual things must be spiritually discerned. Say that with me. Spiritual things must be spiritually discerned. Duh. It's like saying, I'm trying to understand French when I only speak German. Or I'm trying to understand English when I only speak Italian. Spiritual things must come through the portal of a spiritual mindset. A person and a student and a teacher who's listening as much as they are speaking. Take a breath with me. Let it go. Contrary to human understanding, music finds its beauty in the rests. Any musicians in the room? That's the moment where the me becomes the we. The singer, Kristen, is singing, and it's beautiful, a delight to our ears. And then there's a pause. And that's when Kristen's heart is now received by you. That's spirituality. That is the rest. That is the moment in between our doing where the beauty happens. This is one of the busiest churches on the planet. Do you know that? I'm proud of that. We get a lot done. We are human doings, and we've got this class and this class and this opportunity. And at the Christmas time, wow, we're as busy as we have ever been. Which means at Christmas time, we need to birth more silence. We need to birth more quiet. I had to do it the other day as I was yet trying to unravel another set of Christmas lights. And I realized I was getting it done. The house was looking beautiful. It was all going to be decorated, and I was angry. And I was upset because I had forgot to put the rest in the music. And it's such a funny thing. The string of lights that was so hard to untie 10 minutes earlier, I went back to it after being spiritual, quiet, and still. It's like, did somebody mess with this? Because it came undone easily and effortlessly. The more we are doing, the more we need the big rock of our spirituality and our quiet. This is a consciousness that Jesus demonstrated. He felt the music before he got involved in playing the music. He felt it, and he challenged us to feel the music first. The next two core values, I'm going to call them sisters because they are so interrelated, and that is acceptance and diversity. This is the harmony of the piece of music, the wide range of harmony. You go to that piano and there's keys on the high end, there's keys on the low end, and there's 88 keys in between. And they all are necessary to create music out of that instrument. It is important. Many different notes working together as one. We celebrate that here. You know, I've said it throughout this series that there's many churches around us that will tell you, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. Yep. And now we're going to change you. Now we're going to teach you how to be, how to live, how to think. You're not really welcome. Acceptance is the next vibration of that. Your note on that piano is as important as my note. But then we go a step further. When the notes are on the piano being played, and sometimes they're dissonant, sometimes they don't go together, we go to the place of celebration. Welcome becomes acceptance, and acceptance becomes celebration. And so that's what we're doing here with these two sisters of acceptance and diversity. I'm going to invite Danielle and Kristen to come up because I told you, you promised you would participate, right? We have absolutely no idea how this is going to go. And I'll be honest, as a board of directors and a staff with the new vision and mission, we have really no idea where it's going yet. We've got some plans and we've got some directions and we're looking in that direction, but God will lead us. You got your mic? We're gonna make sure that we're on pitch. And so I'm gonna invite people over here to follow Danielle. From Mike Stott, Donna Stott over. You're gonna lead, you're gonna stay with Danielle. You're in really good hands. This is your note. Good. Pretty good. There was other notes other than ah in there, but that's okay. They are welcome here. They are accepted here, and they are celebrated here. Kristen is going to lead those of you on this side. Let's say from this beautiful lady with the glasses. It's so good to see you. That over there, going to sing this note. You'll find it. Keep looking. We are spiritual seekers. We're music seekers too. Okay, and those in the middle get to follow me. La. You seem a little reluctant. I said, sing this note, la, and you go, la, la. When all three come together, there's an expansiveness. The spiritual is expanded. The music is expanded. There is an amplification. So we're going to build this chord, okay? We're going to build the chord with acceptance and diversity. Danielle, I think you went a little flat. Okay. All right, Danielle, get your group going. Over here. And stop. Now you sing it without the microphones. Go. Can you hear how beautiful that is? Choir practice will be next Tuesday. It's beautiful and it's easy, but is it always that easy? Sometimes there is dissonance. So we're going to build the chord again, and I'm going to ask Kristen to take her group down 1/2 step. Okay? So let's build it again. You know, I'm hearing a dum 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 dum. The 2000 Space Odyssey is about to explode. Elvis is coming in the back room. So it's dissonant, but sometimes it even gets really dissonant as you're growing and you're stretching. There are those birth pangs. There are those moments where it doesn't feel good. So after Kristen lowers her note, I'm going to lower my note. So you guys got to follow me, all right? Go. That's called the diminished chord. And sometimes on our dream and our visioning, things get diminished. They get smaller, yes? But the reality is we're only one thought around going right back to where we started. So after we lower, we're going to go back up. That's what Jesus did. It's a consciousness that says, I'm only one breath, one moment, one vibration about returning to where I have been. One more time, and then I'll let these ladies go. All right, with no microphones, no piano, sing your note. Go. Give it the word Om. Om, as we enter into the silence and hear the vibration of the room, of the note, of the Om in the pause. Together. Om. The music is happening in the rest. Please give these two beautiful ladies a hand. This is the willingness to embrace ourselves and others without judgment and without reservation. We cannot and will not make exceptions to where we find the face of love. We cannot and will not make exceptions to where we find the face of God, even when it feels diminishing, even when it feels minor, even when it feels dark and scary. Acceptance and diversity means recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of all people, regardless of their spiritual background, their political background, their actions, or their beliefs. And let me tell you, that's what the world needs now more than ever. It's what the country needs now more than ever. I don't want to play the game of divisiveness. Jesus is going to come back and said, don't make me do that. Don't make me come back. Well, Jesus is coming back a second, third, fourth, fifth time, and it's showing up in your skin. It's showing up in your consciousness. Acceptance, diversity, unconditional love and spirituality. The Christ is coming as you. And so when you hear the chord, be the one that stays grounded. Be the one that stays connected. This was the Christ consciousness of inclusivity born at the time of Advent. You've forgotten that you belong to each other. That you can take Jesus' message and put it right there. You've forgotten that you belong to each other, even when it is diminished, dark, and minor. When all is said and done, acceptance and diversity means welcoming a wide variety of harmonies, of visions, opinions, and ideas. That every person and every experience is part of the divine unfolding of our collective journey. Number 5, say it with me, community. Say it again. Give me your chord. We're going to see if we can do it without the microphones. Let me hear you sing community in your note. Community. Keep seeking. You're going to find it. We're going to play a little bit. Can you feel the beauty of that? And if we all sang the same note, it's not nearly as expansive or rich or beautiful. If we all sang the same note, what a boring place this would be. What a boring earth it would be. Poor Johnny, one note. He only sings one note. And there's a whole bunch of people on the planet that say, here's the note, and you need to duplicate my note. Me. And we all sing the same note. What a boring world that is. And so here at Unity North, we are celebrating community in diversity, in inclusivity, and in the richness and the tapestry. What would be the community musically? What would be the metaphor? The orchestra, the band, if you are like the music, or the choir. It is the ensemble of people working together in partnership with a common vision and a common idea. Jesus said, where 2 or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them. When 2 or more are gathered in the name of love, there is love. Where 2 or more are gathered in the name of peace on earth. Doesn't say the same opinion. But it's the divine idea, the divine vibration, the music, the melody, and the harmony. Where 2 or more are gathered in this intention, something beautiful can happen, yes? That's what we're doing here. That's what we're going to do at a very high level in 2025 at Unity North, is to be an orchestra. A principle that reminds us that we are not created to walk this journey alone in isolation. You know, I often say, I can have peace when I'm not hanging around with all you folks. I can find peace. It's much easier to get along with people when I'm alone. But is it really peace? It is not really peace, because the minute I get out into the world and somebody challenges me, it falls apart. It is a house built upon sand. So community is necessary, a necessary component to my growth. Peace, when I can have 200 people in the room all disagreeing with me and still find peace, is the true peace, is the true grounding, is the true upper room. Yes? You know, I tell this all the time to people when I marry them. I perform hundreds of marriages. It's a blessed privilege. But one of the things I put in my ceremony is to let that couple know that your joys are about to be expanded. When you share it, where two or more, the joy quotient goes up. But it's not just in the good times, because the suffering will also be lessened. The pain of the earthly journey is now lessened. So we often say, you know, we say, come to church, be a part of the community, take a class, get involved in this community. It's not because we need you, we want you here, but it's for your better good. It's to have the deeper reality of peace. It's to have the greater expression of joy. It's to cultivate the Christ consciousness together as two become one, as 200 become one. In Ecclesiastes chapter 4, it's plain as day here, let's say it together, two are better than one. If either one of them falls down, one can help the other up. Duh. How beautiful is that? Community is not just about being together when it's easy. And it baffles my mind when people say, I was feeling kind of down, so I didn't come to church. That's when you need to be here. That's when you need to lean to your left and your right and say, I need you. I've fallen down. Help me up. The ladder I talked about last week, it's helping each other up to the higher vibration. And it looks like joy and laughter in the kids section of the church. And it looks like joy and laughter and play and silence and presence and rest and stillness. When you're down, I will just be witness to what you're feeling. And you don't have to share it alone. It's holding space for one another. It's holding presence in love and support. And it's what the world is looking for. And let me tell you, we have been for a lot of people, and I actually had a whole 3-year plan on it. We have been a social club for a lot of people. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people had a good time here. I get to see my friends, so I'll tolerate the spirituality. I'll tolerate the unconditional love, but I get to see my friends who think like I do. We're not a social club anymore, because that's not what the world needs. You're going to have social moments in here, but if we are just a social club, I quit. I need more than a social club. I also need more than a cult. You know, there's plenty of cults within 10 miles of us that will tell you what to think. There's plenty of people within 10 miles that will interpret the Christmas story for you and say, now regurgitate this, because this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The world doesn't need that. The world needs a safe place of unconditional love where we're all listening and accepting the diverse environment and going, how do you find God? How is the second coming of the Christ, the Buddha, the Atman, the Tao being born as you? And somehow we dance together and we play together in a place of community. Helen Keller is absolutely one of my heroes. But the name that's often forgotten is the name Anne Sullivan. Helen Keller became an international speaker, having been born without the ability to see or the ability to hear. How is that possible? God makes the possible out of the impossible. And in this case, it showed up as Anne Sullivan. And this international speaker had this to say. Let's read it together. Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. As I've been examining over the last 3 weeks our ceiling, why do we keep hitting a ceiling of what we can do for the world and the community? It's because we've been individual little entities doing our own little thing. This is my ministry. That's your ministry. That's what Richard does. That's what Larry does. And it's like we're these little individual pods trying to push a ceiling. The ceiling will never move. The walls will never move. What the world needs will never happen. because we have not bound ourselves together in the energy of unconditional love. That's what this new mission and vision is doing. And it seems so simple. And it does not mean that you have to think the way I think to do ministry with me. It does not mean that you have to believe as I believe for us to do ministry here. But it means that we are more together, that through community we multiply our capacity to love, to express and to experience love, to heal all of us, and to create and to know God. When all is said and done, we recognize we're part of something greater than me. We're part of something greater than you. This is the move from me to we that we have been making for the last 3 weeks, and it's the exact message that Jesus brought to the planet during Advent. Quit fighting over the land, quit fighting over the possessions, and remember you belong to each other. And how do you do that? Through service. Say that with me. Service represents what musically? You know, action. As a kid, I didn't practice the piano much. I kind of wanted the Harold Hill system, the think system. So I'd go to the piano, play, play, play. There's a lot of people on the world that says, we need this, play. We have to get active. We are the hands of God. We are the feet of God. We are the heart of God. We are the body of God. We are the spirit of God. So these are the hands and the voices that bring music to life. Sing the word love on your note. Go. Love. Keep seeking, because spiritual seekers find the harmony. Close enough for jazz. What good is the potential vibration if it's never given expression? We talk a good game and we talk about these theories and philosophies, but we don't live them out there. We don't live them even in here. We're going to live them in 2025 at the highest level and vibration. Service is where values become action, where unconditional love is given life. I'm going to invite the band to come up. And where diversity and acceptance is demonstrated. It's spirituality and community with hands and feet and work gloves and overalls. Jesus was born into the world as a servant leader, not a king. And everybody wanted him to be a king. And one of the changes that we're making as a church is New Thought churches all over the country are personality-centric. It's all about who's leading, who's speaking, who's singing. That is an old paradigm that has to die, that must die. No, we want to worship somebody. Not that anybody here worships me. Some of you come when I'm not speaking. But the reality is, it's about who's speaking, I'll show up. You've missed the whole point. If one note is sung over and over, and I'm one note, maybe occasionally two, then this is a boring place and there's no growth. But one of the reasons we have a lot of people sing, a lot of people share, a lot of people, our kids getting to take the whole service next week, is because many notes, the harmony, makes it a richer environment. Yes? Service. Jesus says, I'm not a king. Stop worshiping me. Follow me. I am a servant leader. My favorite moment is when he says to his apostles, let me wash your feet. This is a consciousness that we need to recognize. No, I cannot do that, Peter says. I cannot do that. I can let me wash your feet. And he says, if you don't let me wash your feet, I have nothing to do with you. And I'm going to be so bold, I might get in trouble for saying this, but if there is not a servant mindset of how I can make the world a better place, how I can make the church a better place, how I can make Avril's life a little better place, I have no need of you. Because that is a isolated, dualistic environment that cannot and will not live here at Unity North anymore. No more me, 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 me. It's what are we doing together? I serve Avril. Avril serves me. Do not touch my feet. That will not be happening. Yeah, I love you. He said over and over, I am not a king, I am a servant leader, and that's the consciousness that we're cultivating. The same consciousness that was dedicated by one of my other heroes, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Much like Jesus, when he was asked, what's the most important thing? What's the most important thing? Well, this is what Martin Luther King said was the most important thing. Let's read it together. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And if you think that's a small task, a small change, that's everything. And that's the change that we're going through.